The Department of Player Safety has announced the suspension for Tom Wilson. Do I think it's enough? I'll give you my thoughts coming up next. Yo ho everybody, and welcome to another edition of Yinzer on Hockey. Before we begin, make sure you go down below, hit that like button, click the subscribe button, and make sure you click that little bell so you stay up to date on all the NHL happenings. So, message sent from the NHL Department of Player Safety today issuing a 20-game suspension for Tom Wilson of the Washington Capitals, first-line right winger. And with the suspension and the average annual value of his contract, he will be forfeiting approximately $1.26 million for this suspension. His actual contract this year guarantees him $1.1 million, so he'll actually be paying approximately $160,000 over his contract terms for the year. But because the NHL, the way they do their contract, and they split the AAV over the length of the contract instead of the actual contract of the actual terms of the contract, he's going to forfeit a lot of money this year. So, do I agree with the suspension or disagree? I'm actually pretty comfortable with the suspension amount. I think they've flirted too long with the idea of where they need to be on suspensions, and this one delivers a heavy message, especially to guys who have been to the office before for various infractions. This is his fourth time in a little over a calendar year that he has had to face disciplinary action from the Department of Player Safety, and when it comes to repeat offenders, Tom Wilson is the definition of a repeat offender. So I think they delivered this message, and to guys like Brad Marchand, Nazem Kadri, guys like that have faced discipline in the past, they need to really be overly careful about how they approach the game this coming season, because I think with the concussion lawsuits looming in the very near future for the NHL, they're going to deliver stronger messages to try and bolster their case in those courtroom appearances, and I think that's what today's discipline was about. It's not necessarily a direct reflection of Tom Wilson, but it is a defense-building case for the NHL against the concussion lawsuits, and I think that's part of what's going into this ruling. So, what comes next for Tom Wilson for the NHL? If Tom Wilson decides to appeal this suspension, which is very likely with the severity of the suspension, it will go to Commissioner Gary Bettman. He will be the ruling force on the next appeal, and if he decides to uphold the suspension or levy anything more than 6 games in terms of suspension, then Tom Wilson will hold the right to have an independent arbitrator rule against his suspension. But during those times, he does indeed face the suspension. He's not allowed to play during the appeals process. It's not like the NFL where if you appeal the suspension, you play until somebody rules on the outcome of the appeal. So, yes, he will be out most certainly for tonight, and most certainly for the next 5 games at a minimum until the appeals process takes its course. I assume that we'll know, well, he has to guarantee in writing in the next 48 hours if he chooses to appeal, so we'll know for certain in the next 2 days if he is indeed going to appeal, and then, the process plays out from there. I am pretty ecstatic with the outcome of this ruling. I think it does put an onus on the NHL, saying that they are taking headshots seriously. They're taking concussions, CTE, and TBI more seriously moving forward, and it's a good ruling. So let me know in the comments below, what is your thoughts on this? Do you agree with the ruling? Do you disagree? Or what are your thoughts? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe Follow me on all the social media listed in the description below. And until I see you next time, have a good day.